plagued by reboots, haunted by sequels, dominated by the same old shit. Get ready for an original podcast that will gouge out your eyeballs and skull fuck you. Starring Ginger Josh, Adam the Hare, and introducing the immortal Frank. Hold on to your butts. It's the Game Rage Movies TV Podcast.
Here we are. There she is, as some people like to say. Back again. The Game Rage Movies and TV Podcast. My name's Josh. I'm here today with Adam.
Greetings.
And today we're going to be talking about The Bear, Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8, otherwise known as I can't wait for this show to get fucking canceled.
My perspective on it has changed for the better. I don't know if it's significantly better. This season is definitely going to fall along the lines of being... this is the part that's hard for me to distinguish, is if it's somewhat bad or it's mediocre to somewhat good because Carmy's in a state of bullshit right now.
Yeah.
That he's trying to figure things out. And it seems like the whole season is just him trying to figure out what's going on with himself and seemingly at odds with Richie still.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everybody else is like picking up the slack, and even Sydney's showing signs of leadership and possibly even being seen. Well, she was prospectively seen as a fucking equal to Carmy.
Yeah. To not be.
But now it's become Carmy is obsessed. He's basically burying all his problems in the fucking bear.
Yeah.
To get this Michelin star because this is all he has.
Yeah, it's true. And so we did watch ahead. So like you will be getting, well, not watch ahead, but like we finished it already. But we're gonna be doing. You'll be getting 7 and 8 today, and then Sunday night, well, like Monday morning, you'll be getting the season 9 or episode 9 and the season finale of the show. But this so far is up to this point, up to after 5 and 6 has so far been. This is like the worst season so far.
I think it is. And for me, it's below. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, before we get into it, if you want to find out more about all of our other podcasts, you can go to GameRageMagazine.com. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag, YouTube, Game Rage Magazine. That's everything is there. It's the best. It's the greatest YouTube channel. I love it. It is the greatest. It is so well laid out. It has the greatest content. Listen, Russia wishes they had this kind of content. So do China, but they don't. It's only here at Game Rage Magazine. And if you want to follow Adam, you can go to All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram, and you can go listen to the All Gas No Trash podcast. Also, if you like anime, go follow anime_syndicate_podcast on Instagram, and go and listen to the Anime Syndicate podcast.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Jujutsu Kaisen. Jizz
Juice Kaisen.
Jizz Kaiser Man.
OJ Simpson Kaisen.
OJ Simpson Jew Kaiser.
Juice Kaisen.
Juice Kaiser. Oh, man. That'd be great. I mean, he's dead. Does anybody own his image? Anyways, all right. So let's get to cracking. The Bear, Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8.
Fuck, man. This might be a short episode.
That's fine, because these episodes were fucking terrible, man.
The 8, I didn't fucking hate it, but I also didn't think it was necessary to make it 49 minutes for the birth of Sugars.
Okay. I didn't need to see any of that. I didn't need, and then what happened at the end? We didn't even get like what you would think is like the redemption arc with her and like her mom. We didn't even get a payoff for that.
I think that's probably because, I mean, we'll get to it, but if I had to speculate why they did that, is because they haven't come full circle yet. And her husband, basically interrupted their fucking moment that they were having, this this moment between fucking daughter and mother resolving their issues that have been long standing since who the fuck knows how long.
True, but this isn't called the fucking Sugar and Dee Dee fucking makeup hour. This is called The Bear. I don't think this plot line is integral to the story at all. This is like a side quest that somehow feels like it turned into a goddamn main quest.
I didn't need it. I don't think I needed it, to be honest. If there was a central figure, it's maybe between Carmy, and Carmy's kind of like I think he should be the main figure of the story itself most of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe Richie, Sid, and Carmy, but we'll fuck it. We'll just get down to episode 7.
Yeah.
So again with this bullshit, I'm kind of getting tired. I hope season 4, they need to pivot away from Carmy having. I know they're trying to show it visually with him having this ongoing loop about things that happened in his past relationship with Claire, but that can't be 30 seconds, 15 seconds of things that have happened in between parts of their relationship that we didn't get to see in the previous season. I really don't need that. We already knew that they were childhood friends, that they eventually had a romantic relationship, and then it all fell apart. We don't need to revisit the little bits and pieces of them being intimate with one another.
Yeah.
But that's what ends up happening, is that we get more bullshit with Claire, and Carmy's like spacing out at the Bear. Richie himself having the exact same function as Carmy with the flashbacks and all that. Sid having flashbacks as well. And then we get to the part where Garrett, who was part of Ever, the restaurant, he has a proposal for Sid that he is going to be, he's got something in the pipeline and he wants Sid to be involved. And then we get over to the part where Carmy is at the Alcoholics Anonymous, or substance abusers, like the member or people in the family that were affected by those people.
Yeah.
And this guy is talking about some family member, whether that is like his wife or his mom.
Yeah.
How they were being shit people as an alcoholic,
right,
and believes that he himself has been left with like the baggage of the relationship when that person was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
That he has all the trauma and all that shit, while the other person can just apologize and everybody sees them as like a saint.
Yeah.
And the AA guy, like, it wasn't Carmy, but the other person was just saying he doesn't think it's fair that this person gets praised for like the minute things that they do that's in a positive direction, which is like, fuck, man, I actually kind of fucking, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but this is something I've actually been thinking about a lot, is how people that are in those circumstances of being substance abusers, whether that's alcohol or drugs or whatever, how they get so fucking praised for doing the most minute thing, the 12 steps. Like,
oh
bro,
my God, he didn't do crack today. Hooray. Man, you just shouldn't do crack anyways, all right? Jesus Christ, why do you gotta get a fucking cookie for that? I haven't done crack once in my entire life. But you know what? Nobody's saying, hey, you know what, Josh? You did so good not doing crack today. Oh, I know you could have, but you didn't. Oh.
Yeah,
where's my fucking sober chip? I've been fucking sober from crack for fucking 36 years, all right?
So I thought that guy brought up like a really, a legitimate point about the relationship of people that are substance abusers and those that are not.
Right.
The people surrounding them, that they have to deal with this bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he says something along the lines that he feels bad, but it's like, I can't help the way I feel. Like this, I got burdened with this shit and I'm still holding the bag for it. Like, what the fuck? So then the counselor suggests that the longer that you keep in words like that, things that, those type of thoughts where you want to just shoot backlash at those people within your life, that it's not any healthier to bury that shit deep inside. So then we cut over to the Bear, and we were introduced to another fact, which is seems to be like consistent.
This is, like I said, season 4 is going to end up just being called the Fact Show. Like,
I really think they should just take a chance and make a fact spin-off show.
Yeah, they need that, man. Like, that's necessary. And if they don't want to do it, who owns this? Hulu? Or does FX own it still?
Well, since Disney owns both of them,
I guess it doesn't matter.
it doesn't really matter, I think.
I'm going to call up Disney and be like, hey, listen, we got this fucking idea. All right. I think you just need to give us just give us like $5 million and we'll fucking take care of it.
The facts.
Yeah, it's gonna be called Straight Facts. All right, that's.
So Uncle Gary Fack is introduced, and I don't know what the fuck he's doing there. He's got to fix the lights or some bullshit. I don't know how it's possible, but it seems like every fucking problem that the bear encounters, there's like a Fack that takes care of it.
Yeah.
They had Sammy, who was the guy with
He was the fucking buffer, the floor buffer.
the floor buffer. And then apparently this guy's like, I don't know if
What's his
he's
name?
electric.
Uncle Gary?
Uncle Gary, yeah, Uncle Gary.
Yeah, he's the light guy apparently.
So then they start going down the path of talking about the haunting because
Yeah.
apparently his Neil Fack, the fat one, Matty Matheson, his dad used to be an asshole and he haunted his fucking uncle or his brother, his younger brother, Neil's uncle, and convinced him that he wasn't a Fack. Which was kind of funny. But then he went on this whole fucking like monologue about what being haunted. I don't know if you remember that at all.
Yeah. I don't remember the full deal, but he's like
Something about going to Valhalla or some bullshit.
Yeah, he's like it's like you're constantly looking over your shoulder. And then for like a thing that'll never come. And then he's like, you go into this dark hole. And then you're in this dark hole. And then as you go, you see lights fly by. And then when you eventually, you walk out and you're in a field and you're in Valhalla and Odin is there. And like you're eating at the table of Odin and you're fighting with all the warriors. And he's like, how does he end it? It was like something with like, and then that's what he gets you, like some shit like that. And then he's like,
yeah, and then he walks away. He's like,
yeah.
your fucking dad's a prick.
Yeah, he's like, your fucking dad's a prick. And they're like, yeah, pretty much.
So then we now cut over to Garrett, who is the guy at Ever, the curly-haired motherfucker, and the one that told the Asian guy, he's like, fuck you, when they were having their little accountability meeting. So he proposes to Sid about being a top chef at the restaurant that he's putting together after Ever ends up dissolving. Marcus finds a photo of Carmi with famous chefs, and there's like this phrase that's in its legerdemain, sleight of hand, pushing the dish further. Mm-hmm. So then they start talking about legacy. And it's still funny that Carmi's like, So they start talking about legacy, and he's talking about Carmi's talking about how what these people surmised legacy means, which was that legacy is people starting off in a restaurant or even like a culinary academy, and eventually those people will move on from their positions to go on and start possibly their own restaurants, and then at one point, those people will have their own students and everything, and then everything will just sort of converge. So I gotta say, like, this for me is kind of the whole. I already watched episodes 9 and 10. I think this kind of saved the season for me. This whole legacy thing, because now we're starting to see it with some of the members of the Bear staff leveling up their culinary skills,
right,
and also sharing ideas about food. And I'm not sure if it happens in this episode, but hopefully it does. And then Sid and Carmi Marcus all have their own interpretations about what legacy is. And Sid doesn't have anything. She can't even think of anything. Carmi's like, I want to be anxiety free. I want to be square with everybody. Marcus just wants to be remembered for being a good dude. So Carmi's cousin and some other guy are talking about workflow at the Beef. So these are the people that used to formerly work at the Beef itself when Richie was the operator, I guess, or the manager or whatever. Let's see. So it's what
that whole sequence when they brought those guys in, those two guys, and they're like, all right, we're gonna do this, whatever. And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, we put the little mayonnaise cups over here. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, tell him about when you fucked up and you let everybody have mayonnaise. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, some guy asked for mayonnaise. And I said, you know what? Like, here's a little side. If you want to go home and ruin your sandwich, do it, but don't do it fucking here. And then he's like, and now all these assholes want mayonnaise. And he's like, yeah, we fucked up. We should have done that. And he's like, you know what we do? He's like, we take make the mayonnaise cup smaller so that we have to use less, stretch it out a little bit. Yeah, it's a great idea. And then he's like, see, you put the shit in the bag, boom, 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 here. And they're like, they got it all like on lock or whatever.
They pretty much have it on lockdown, which is what the beef needed at one point.
Yeah.
It's funny that these guys got it fucking nailed down and Carmy couldn't. Well, he started to get it right when they ended up eventually changing to the bear or whatever. But they finally say who the characters are who they fucking are.
Yeah.
It's Chris and Chuck. I'm like, dude, why didn't they fucking introduce them as that when they came up? Like, I have to learn about this fucking several episodes after the fact.
Yeah.
So the workflow of the beef is now in full effect. Ibrahim is like happy just because it looks like he wanted structure and he didn't want to evolve in the same way that the other parts of the staff became part of the bear. Like, this guy's just happy being at the beef, doing his fucking job or whatever. And then we get this cool, interesting moment between Ted Fack and Sweeps, the wine connoisseur guy. So Ted is like, dude, are you fucking like alcoholic? Is that like why you're always around the wine and shit? Is that why you're interested?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. He's like, how I got here was I was formerly a AAA baseball player, and he was one of those people that was doing steroids. He did it twice and got caught for it.
Yeah.
And basically got canned. And so then Ted basically tells him that he used to watch him in his AAA days, and he was a big fan of him. And I don't know, they just kind of had like a cool little moment. And
Yeah.
I think it made Sweeps feel better that somebody at least remembered his baseball career,
Yeah.
because he said he ended up missing it, but you know, he had to move on. And at least
He's like, hey, how do you know so much about minor league baseball? I might have made a bet or two. Might have made
parlays.
Might have made a few parlays back in the day. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So Richie and Sugar are talking about. We cut over to Richie and Sugar, who are talking about like the soul of the bear.
Yeah.
And they're saying it's at odds with itself, which is evident because that's something that's been pointed out since the beginning of the season, that Richie and fucking Carmy are like not on good terms right now. And then Sugar's like asking like, oh, what happened with your pregnancy when you had your daughter? And then Richie's just sharing the story about how Tiffany, who's his wife or ex-wife, they were at a Thai restaurant and her water broke as soon as they walked out of the place. And overall, the experience was like chill or some bullshit, and that it wasn't all that stressful. I think she was looking for some kind of comfort out of that conversation to see that everything's gonna be okay as far as like her own birth. Yeah. And then before even that, we got to the moment of Tiffany going into labor. Richie's talking about a story about Mikey and Richie going on a side trip or something for Jimmy to drop something off or some shit. And this was before the hospital, before he dropped his wife off at the hospital, just to kind of show that, I don't know, that Richie and Mikey were good friends or whatever, and that they always had good times. Or even in the bad times, that they were basically like brothers or whatever. Tina and Ibrahim talk about Ibrahim's like experience working at the beef now that he's back on the staff and everything. And he seems to be like, this is where I need to be. I don't need to be leveling up my skills. I'm just he's basically complacent with his own skills, and this is where he wants to be, which is whatever, I guess. I just hope that we end up getting the episode where he ends up getting the backlog or the exposition for his, because everybody's been getting like a backstory episode, and Ibrahim is like the one person they haven't done. But fuck, man, he doesn't have that much depth, so it's like maybe it's kind of a waste to do that in season 4. But I just want to see the Somali shit.
Yeah, man, that's all I want to see. Fuck.
So Tina and Sugar are talking, and again, trying to fish for information about what it's like to be a parent, and then Tina basically says that she was basically unsure about everything, and that doesn't change after the fact when you have the kid. That the stress is relieved; it just continues to. It's no different than when prior to having the kid. Fack and Ted chop it up with Sugar, and I don't know, they need C-folds or some bullshit, and they were gonna go get it, and then Sugar ends up going out to go get it. Sid's dad is being a burden to Sid, calling her all the time and calling for stupid reasons, and then we get Chuck talking about being haunted by Sammy Fack, who's one of the employees of the Beef, the tall motherfucker, not the little guy with the mustache. That's Chris, I think. So then Sugar's at the store, and then Richie is like giving a speech, and he just kind of look flustered, as it's already been evident within the entire season that Richie's also not at peace with himself or something going on. I think it has to do with his daughter asking him if he's alone.
Yeah,
and that's just been eating at him the entire season. And then Sid and Carmy go over tomorrow's menu, and this is where it becomes crystal clear that Sid is definitely like a subordinate to Carmy, that she's trying to pitch her own ideas for the dishes, and Carmy's like, nope, Hamachi, fuck that, we're going with this. What was that idea? Oh no, we're gonna go with my own thing. And then the episode ends with Sugar going into labor at the store, so the baby is on the way, and I don't know what to say about the episode.
The second she was going by herself to Restaurant Depot, I was like, fuck this. The next episode's gonna be the goddamn, she's gonna have the baby or some shit at the thing. They telegraphed it way too fucking easily.
Yeah, I think it's kind of bullshit that Sugar does so much for other people, and the one time that she needs
nobody
answers their phone. It's kind of a horrible pickle to be in, but I guess the most interesting part for me is now Sid looks like she could be putting herself in a better situation, possibly with the new job lined up, and whether she actually takes it, I'm not sure. So we'll see what that was kind of like the most interesting thread for me personally. And then we get to round out the facts, like more family members, more characters being introduced with them.
Yeah.
I really do think they need to fucking just straight up make their own fucking show with them. I don't know if that means that Neil Fack, the character, just starts his own fucking sandwich shop or some bullshit, and that's how you create like a whole premise for the show. I don't even know what the premise would be, but
I think it's like when the bear fails, well, now everybody's got to go work somewhere else.
Yeah.
Which I do personally hope the bear does fail. Like I
feel like
want
it is.
to see it die. They have pissed me off too much, and I'm sorry. Carmy needs to be punished, and he needs to go the fuck back to France or wherever the fuck he was at before. He needs to go back to Europe.
Yeah.
He needs to fuck back off with that fuck boy that's his friend, and go on back to fucking wherever. All right.
I guess the biggest part, like I was saying, for me personally about the episode was the legacy part about people moving on.
Yeah, that was cool.
Starting in one place and then sprouting to other parts. And then eventually there's going to be a convergence and then the whole cycle starts over again.
Yeah.
That to me, I think is maybe the crux of the season, why it feels disjointed, because we've been seeing more highlights of each of the characters, of how they've been strengthened by Carmy and their culinary skills and shit. So this is why where I'm finding myself for season 3 as far as like a grade goes, it's going from mediocre to marginally good. Because this little bit about legacy is saving it for me, because I couldn't make sense of all this bullshit. Like, it all felt fucking random, and now there's a reason for it. And I feel like we're gonna get the answers in the next couple episodes, as you'll see when we do episodes 9 and 10 in another episode. But
yeah, the 7, okay, 8, fucking garbage. 9 brought us back up again. 10, there were some interesting points, and then, well, we'll talk about it when we do that one. But
yeah,
it's just like, I don't know. And then when I saw that the name of this episode was fucking Ice Chips, I was like, fuck, this whole episode's gonna be about this fucking baby being born.
Yeah, I don't think I really want. I'll try to hit the main beats, I guess. I didn't really take all that much notes.
Here, I can just read the synopsis that's like 5-6 sentences on fucking Wikipedia, and then we can just tell it the fuck straight off.
I'll just go through it real quick because I didn't write as many notes for that episode. That's fine. So we start off with fucking Sugar in the middle of traffic, and she is basically resorting to her mother to help her with her being in labor. And on the way, dude, you could tell like her mom, her presence just being there, seemingly out of obligation to have somebody by her side so that she doesn't do this alone. Already getting stressed out by her fucking mom going hectic and trying to coach her on her breathing. And she's like, it doesn't fucking work. What the fuck are you talking about? You crazy bitch. Yeah. And Donna, so they're in the hospital and Donna's talking about like wanting a kid and all this bullshit. And she's trying to convince Sugar that she should just get the fucking epidural and the oxytocin to induce labor, and she doesn't have pain and shit. And
well, it's Pertocin or something like that, I think is what the name of the...
Right. And one of the big problems of this episode is that Donna, they're kind of dancing around this subject about why Sugar hadn't brought up the birth subject, or that she was going to have a kid. And that was something that was kept from Donna, Carmi's mom. And she's like, oh, I think I know why, but I kind of need you to tell me why. Like, and they kind of dance around it for a bit.
Yeah.
And hey, fuck, man, I'll just get to the main part of it. So her mother is basically helping her along, teaching her how to coaching her in her breathing. And then she tells like this wonky dream about how she's in this glass, or rather in a city with a giant fucking fish tank, and there's color and the whole city itself is gray. And then she snaps out of it and she ends up giving birth to Mikey. And it's a lot of exposition about like why some of these characters are fucked up. Cause she mentions that Mikey didn't want to come out. And that was kind of like I guess a revelation for Sugar that, well, considering that he killed himself, maybe he didn't want to be part of the world or something. Yeah. Even at birth. And then she talks about how Carmi's dad was basically non-existent in their life, and how he was there for Carmi's birth, but he was asking for like for all these drugs basically when she was the one that was giving birth. And then Cicero's first ex-wife or first wife helped her with her pregnancy and shit. So it's a lot of like exposition for other characters and shit. And they get down to the beef, or the crux of their problem was that Sugar didn't want to bring Donna into her life because all the things that have been provoked by her anxiety, her stress, how sick she gets because she's so concerned about her mother's problems. Like, she puts her first over herself, and that bringing her into the relationship, or even into the fold of having a daughter or her being a grandmother, that it's just going to be, she doesn't want her own kid to be fucked up, which is like, I thought a pretty pivotal part of the episode. And it seems like they're getting towards a place of equilibrium where they can stand to be in each other's presence. And it is pointed out that Donna has made it on her own part to try to resolve some of her own issues. And Pete ends up coming into the fold, finally arrives, and it kind of interrupts what is developing between Sugar and her mom, that they're at least amiable with one another, where they might have not been. And then Pete is basically supported by Donna, who's like, just be there. which is more than what she got out of her own husband, which was kind of, I don't know, it was like kind of a nice moment that they had between each other.
Yeah.
And then the facts are there talking to Donna at the end of the episode and just consoling her and reminding her like, oh, hey, you're going to be a grandmother. Congratulations, all that shit. And she's like still in disbelief that she is going to be able to be involved with Sugar's daughter. And that's kind of how the episode ends. As far as like the episode, I don't know how I feel about it. I definitely don't think it was warranted having 40 plus minutes or whatever the time allotted for this episode was necessary. I think it was cool to give more of a spotlight for Donna to see why Carmy and Sugar are fucked up and why Mikey might have killed himself.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, Donna or Jamie Lee Curtis being the actress for that role, man, she is very good at seeming like on the teetering between sanity and being unfucking hinged. Like,
yeah,
just I don't know if she's bipolar or whatever, but just on the cusp of like losing her shit, trying to console her daughter, and I'm always like, oh my god, she's gonna explode at some point. But
right,
luckily,
yeah,
she kind of like fucking held it together, and as far as the episode goes, I mean, wasn't my personal favorite. I think it was probably my least favorite of the fucking season.
Yeah, I that was totally fucking unnecessary. And I'm just like, well, whatever. It is what it is. We got this stupid birth episode. Now it's over. Maybe we can get back to, I mean, and honestly, to do it this late in the season was also fucking kind of stupid.
But where are you going to put it? I mean, not if you're going to criticize it, like, where are you going to put it?
I honestly, you take it out. I don't even think we need it. And one of the things that I think why this show is so fucking disjointed a lot of the time.
Well, this season felt like it was the
most disjointed. It's because this season has the most disparity of people, different writers for each episode and directors for each episode.
You think so? Or that,
no, it's what it says. Like that's what I read. Like because it has the name of the director and who wrote it each like episode.
Well, isn't that the case for the other two seasons?
Yeah, but it wasn't. It doesn't seem like it's as bad as this season in terms of that. But I also think that kind of worked in the previous seasons because it needed to be this weird disjointed. Like it added to the fucking hectic notion or the hectic nature of the bear or whatever, right? Where now they're trying to go for this weird fucking like new vibe and to show like whatever Carmy's fucking, I don't know, fucking changing or his mood or whatever. But I think that's why it ends up becoming kind of weirdly disjointed is because it's too many different people writing and too many different people then directing it because if the guy who writes it, and then the director decides to change something, well, yeah, they're going to change something. And then it's like, well, shit, now that doesn't fit into... And I don't even understand how the fuck you have different writers for each episode. Because, like, who came up with the goddamn story? Like, who came up with the overarching storyline? And then you're going to have, like, a different writer write the individual episode? Like, that seems fucking stupid as hell. I think that... in terms of having multiple directors, it works for like shows like The Mandalorian because Favreau and Dave Filoni write the episodes. There's no change in writers. It's just a different person directing the episode. So I think that's why it still works because it's like their storytelling with the little bit of flavor of like whatever the director is kind of thrown in. And that's why it feels fresh every episode. Like it feels like the story's not super disjointed. Like you're getting kind of like the same thing with a little bit of flair, right? I think it's too chaotic. Like in terms of captivating a story, it's like it's too chaotic. I think if you're gonna do one or the other, I think you either have one fucking director and you can change out writers however often you want, or what's ideal, I think, is you just keep all the writers, you keep the writing team the same, and then you just bring in a new director every episode or a different one, or maybe you have somebody do 2 in a row, whatever. Like, I think that is more, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? It's more congruent to make like a storyline that makes sense, I guess. Or
yeah, with the fucking Star Wars sequel trilogy. You had fucking
Oh, yeah.
J.J. Abrams, then you had Green Johnson, and then you had J.J. Abrams again.
Yeah, and 3 different people wrote those fucking movies. So, like, again, that's why it seemed all fucked up and stupid, was because you got all these assholes fucking coming up with their own ideas where it's like, no, you need to have one. And that's why, like with the original trilogy of Star Wars, Lucas wrote all the fucking movies. Yes, he brought in other people to direct them, like to direct Return of the Jedi and fucking Empire Strikes Back, but he still wrote the shit. So the director can only deviate so much. And obviously Lucas was heavily involved because he's like, nah, fuck you. If they wanted to change something, he'd be like, nah, fuck you. I wrote it. This is what's going on. So when you have like what seems kind of like multiple people writing stuff, no one's really, it doesn't seem like anyone's in charge. Just saying like, oh, you know what? I want to do this. I want to have a pregnancy episode. Let's do the whole goddamn fucking thing.
I'm not sure if that's the case. That maybe for the writing, it's for one episode. The dialogue is kind of, that's the thing that they control. Is that here's the beats you have to hit. The dialogue is up to you.
That could be. I mean, that guy Christopher Storer, he's the one that created the show, but he doesn't write every single episode. Like he doesn't even write. I don't even know if it's most of the episodes.
So then it probably is that where he just, here's the beats that you need to hit. You come up with the dialogue and the scenes for it. And
like in the first 2 seasons, it was mainly him writing and this other lady, Joanna Callow. It was like the two of them kind of writing the episodes.
First and second
season. But the directors were different basically every other episode. Yeah. They had like different directors.
Yeah.
Which is why those ones kind of seem, this one has a bunch of people that are like, I haven't seen on here, and it's like, oh shit, like maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I just don't know if this was intentional when it comes to like when I'm talking about the legacy thing, if this was like an intentional thing to make it seem disjointed, to talk about like the fallout of season 2 with the Claire bullshit, because that's the way it's being illustrated, is that he has fragments of his past experiences with Claire and his relationship with Richie and all this shit, and all the other characters are kind of experiencing the same thing, that the bear itself is disjointed between the front of house and the kitchen. So nobody, yes, they're like functional together, but they're not perfect. They're not like cohesive or coexisting in peace with one another.
Yeah, true.
But I feel like maybe season 4 is, I hate, like it's very conflicting for me about how I feel about the season, but it's marginally good because I have seen episode 9 and 10.
Right, so have I.
Yeah, and I think it's marginally good.
Yeah, we'll get the full explanation when we do 9 and 10. We'll get the full thoughts on the, so Monday, you'll get to hear the full thoughts of what we think about the season overall, and then what we think can change or should stay the same or whatever for season 4, because there is going to be a season 4. I mean, they already fucking basically announced it. So, anyways.
I don't think this thing goes on for more than 5 seasons, because I feel like it's capitulating.
I feel like this 4 is going to be the end of it, but
we'll save that for,
So, anyways, all right, well, we got to 38, so we're good. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I don't.
All right, cool. Anyways, all right, well, that's the end of the episode. So, if you want to listen to more, you can go to GameRageMagazine.com, where you can see all of our podcasts. And if you want to go to Instagram and TikTok, you can follow us there at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag, YouTube Game Rage Magazine. Also, follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official and go listen to All Gas No Trash, the Game Rage Music Podcast. And you can go listen to Anime Syndicate. And you can listen to both of those everywhere I just talked about. Probably YouTube is the easiest. I like it. You guys are going to listen on YouTube because we are gaining subscribers on YouTube at a fucking steady clip right now. So I have to say I enjoy that. So continue, keep up the good work. All right. Anyways, that's the end of it. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Oh, hey there, buddy. It's me, 1930s announcer guy, here to congratulate you on making it through this episode. As our heroes are getting in their jalopies and riding off into the literal sunset, they wanted me to tell you thanks for listening to their radio broadcast, and should you be so kind as to follow them on some fancy schmancy radio station publication called Instagram and TikTok at Game Range Magazine, and on some other thing called Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. Also, they wanted me to inform you and ask if you could be so kind again as to visit something called a website at www.GameRageMagazine.com. I don't know what that is, buddy, but you should probably go do those things. And, don't forget to tune in next time to the Game Rage Movies and TV radio broadcast.